Today, we are going to talk about energetic imprints. So, we can have things that are left behind in our body. This could be unresolved experiences, emotions, traumas, accidents, even tendencies in our childhood or things that our parents might have been doing around us that actually impact our own body, mind, or energy field. So, if you think about it like a footprint in the sand that shows where someone's walked, an imprint in your energy shows where you've experienced something, and this can be either positive or negative. So they can come from the personal experiences, there can be generational trauma, there can be past environments. So, for example, for our own family, we had a lot of issues with mold. So, we had a lot of energetic clearing of that mold to release from not only our body, but also the space that we were living in. Because mold, even in the Bible, is a demonic thing. So, we want to make sure we're clearing out that bad energy so that's not introduced into our environment or in our bodies. So the energetic imprints can affect us. They can affect us emotionally. So this might manifest things like anger, grief, fear, shame. Those all get stuck and they can resurface if we're in a similar situation. So maybe there is something that happened when you were the age of 5 and you constantly saw your parents arguing or struggling about something or struggling about money and they might get angry about money, then now that you are older and maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, anytime money comes up, you just feel this instant anger. That is that energetic imprint resurfacing in a similar situation. So sometimes people might feel like they're overreacting and not knowing why they're overreacting. There can be physical effects. So energy imprint, they can manifest as chronic pain, fatigue, digestion issues, or unexplained symptoms. So, for example, if your solar plexus chakra on your belly is off, or maybe you have a familiar history of, say, hernias, that can be a problem with digesting life. So, you want to see where that energetic imprint lies and release that energy. So, the body stores what the mind couldn't process, and that leads to cellular memory. So this also goes back to rewiring your brain, rewiring your patterns, which is something that we do is creating that new identity. So we're not doing the same thing every day, expecting a different result. That's actually the definition of insanity. So we don't want to do that. So energetic imprints also affect our mental health. So repeating through loops, such as like limiting beliefs of I am not enough, or I will always struggle, I am poor, I will never have enough, I can't afford that. So the difficulty of making those decisions keeps pulling you back into that survival mode. So you need to rewire your brain in order to shift from that limiting belief pattern into a believing pattern. So the mind can't distinguish imagination from reality. So imagination is huge. Visualization is huge. They actually did a study for people lifting weights, and one group lifted weights, the other group didn't lift weights, and all they did was they just visualized lifting weights. The people who visualized still had an increase in muscle mass. So the brain can't differentiate imagination from reality. So visualization and having that positive affirmation, those positive words are huge. So then the spiritual effects. So energetic imprints can affect us spiritually. It can make us feel like we have a sense of disconnection from your God, your intuition, or life's purpose. And that can make you feel like you're blocked from peace, clarity, or receiving guidance. So there can even be certain emotions that get stored in your third eye or your pineal gland that block you from having that connection with a higher power. So we want to release those emotions to be able to have that better connection. So where do they come from? Childhood experiences. So if you had any events where you didn't feel safe, seen, or supported, those are huge. And that childhood trauma, especially between the ages of 0 to 7, impacts you as an adult, impacts you throughout your entire life. You might not think your childhood was traumatic. You might be able to compare it to everybody else's, but those feelings of your needs not being met really impact your later in life events. Generational trauma. So patterns through your family. These can be things like fear, scarcity, illness, Maybe there's a lot of people that were in wars or veterans or in the military. They have a lot of that trauma from those events that gets carried on, even to your kids. So, one way to break this trauma is you're breaking it in yourself, and that actually breaks it for your kids too. So, the more work you do on yourself, your kids feel that work as well. Traumatic events, these could be accidents, car accidents, sporting accidents in school, betrayal, loss, bad breakups, abuse, constant illness. Anything that causes trauma to your body can have that energetic imprint and be stored. And then last but not least, environmental influences. So if you are in a home or workplace with a lot of conflict, maybe you work in customer service and everyone on the phone is yelling at you all day. That's a very negative state to be in. Maybe you don't get along with your coworkers. Maybe you have tension in your household. If your child is in a school where they get bullied all the time, that is a negative area. And then just any place with chronic stress. So you can shift your environment too with energy work because you're shifting yourself. You can shift that energy too. So why clearing the energetic imprint matters. So this is really getting to the root. So we're not just masking the symptoms, we're actually clearing that negative energy. So we can do this through ways emotional clearing, we can do this through frequency work, through spiritual clearing, essential oils, sage. You can do a lot of things to help release that negative energy. And this helps prevent the same patterns from repeating in relationships to your health and your behaviors. If you are identifying these same patterns repeating over time, ask someone to call you out on it. So if you have a friend, if you have a loved one, if you're like, hey, I say this word all the time, or I feel this way all the time, and I have a hard time identifying it, can you help call me out on it? The trick is you can't get mad at them. So if they call you out on it, thank them, acknowledge it, and see, what do I need to do to shift this state? Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to, take some quiet time. Taking a shower helps cleanse that negative energy off you. Sage, I sage my house a lot. So you can sage yourself. So release that negative energy off of you. So you help reclaim your energy when you release it. All the negative energy being released helps you feel lighter, feel calmer, feel more alive, feel more you, because you can have negative things stuck to you. So they can kind of be soul suckers, right? So get those things off of you. We want to break through those cycles of patterns that might have been carried for generations. And when you release this negative energy, it actually helps calm your nervous system. You might find that you are able to recognize patterns of negativity sooner, and then your nervous system is able to calm down a little bit faster. So maybe you used to just quickly respond and snap right away. Okay, now maybe you identify the problem, but maybe you're not instantly going to a reaction. You can pause, take that pause and say, hey, what do I need to do so I don't react to this situation? And your immune system actually strengthens when you're not holding on to all that negative energy as well. So signs that you may have some energetic imprints stuck to you, a feeling of being stuck or blocked despite trying multiple different things, emotional triggers that feel bigger than the situation. So if you are reacting very quickly to something that really isn't a big deal in hindsight, that could be some negative energy even from childhood that's stuck there, that's triggering that. Recurring relationship issues. So this could be with a single person, it could be with multiple people. If there are those relationship patterns, think back, how did your parents respond to relationships? How did those around you respond to relationships? And are you falling in those same patterns? Health patterns. So if you come from a family where everyone who is between the ages of 40 and 50 has a heart attack, and you have that recurring health pattern, let's not keep recurring that. We can release that energy so you're not in that state of fear. Fear breeds disease. We don't want to be in a state of fear. If you have a heavy sense of guilt, shame, or fear that doesn't seem to go away, and just feeling disconnected from your body, your intuition, or God. A lot of people don't even realize they have an intuition. Once you find it, you should lean on it because that is our God-given gift. So we all have an intuition and we all have a knowing of what is right and what is wrong. And then, so how to clear? So some easy ways that you can do this is just first become aware of the issue, acknowledge that the issue is present, and then we need to release it. So we can use the emotional release techniques like the emotion code, the clear it template. Breath work is another really good one. You can even go on YouTube and find some breath work to release that negative energy. Frequency work, prayer, give it to God. So if I am giving something to him, it's nice to sometimes ask for something in return. So if I am giving you this anger, please give me joy, right? So we're giving something away, we're taking something in return, and that's okay. Journaling is another good one. So we want to get that negative energy out. I encourage you to write things down versus typing them. Writing it down activates a different part of your brain. So if you need to just dump and get everything that is ticking you off out, I encourage you to just dump it all out in a journal. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about punctuation. Dump it all out. Rip that page out of your journal. Rip it up. Burn it. Get rid of it. That act of burning it helps release that negative energy. Go back to your journal and then journal about positive things. What are you grateful for? You can do positive affirmations. So we want to make sure that anytime we're getting rid of negative energy, we're filling that cup back up with positivity. Then replacement. So we want to replace that negative pattern with truth, with love, with light, with things that align with you. So once again, if you are letting something go, exchange it for love, gratitude, joy, those higher vibration energies. And then shift these patterns into your daily habits. So maybe you wake up in the morning and before you get out of bed, what I personally do is I say 3 things I'm grateful for. I pray. It takes me less than 30 seconds. So even if my kids are going crazy, I take those few seconds that it takes to be grateful and have a little prayer and start my day. That shifts my entire day. The new little game we've done on the way to daycare is just say one word you're grateful for, and we just keep going around the car. And sometimes it's funny and silly, but it shifts you into a positive state. It shifts your kids into a positive state, and they start to realize what good things they have around them too. So benefits of clearing, we're going to release that energy. We're going to learn how to respond instead of react. We're going to improve relationships because we're not going to project on people. We're going to have more compassion. There's potential for physical healing, so less pain. So even in the emotion code book, he talked about, Dr. Bradley Nelson is a chiropractor, and he talked about how there could be physical pain in the spine. And he found by releasing the emotions, he didn't always have to adjust those areas. So it's not always a physical issue. It can be an energetic, emotional issue as well. Stronger intuition. So the closer you are to your intuitive self and energetic self, the more close you are to a higher power. And then just living in alignment, because when you're living in your true and who you are, you feel a lot better and a lot more aligned. You will start to see that things just align around you when you are where you are supposed to be. So if you want any help clearing negative energy, I will happily help you with that. Just shoot me a message.